Okay, recording started. Okay, so joining me today on Tone FM is an up-and-coming star of the country music scene in the USA, who's about to guest on Robert Plant's Saving Grace tour with Susie Diane. Welcome, Taylor
How you
McCall.
doing?
Great to have you with us. Thank you very much for joining us.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So you're in the UK at the moment. How long have you been this side of the pond?
We've been over here since the 27th of October, getting some supplies right and getting everything ready for the road. And then I think this is the third or fourth show we've done with Robert, and we had a day off yesterday, and we're going to play Bournemouth tonight. So very excited.
Fantastic. That must be down at the International Convention Centre in
Yeah,
Bournemouth.
it's going to be awesome. Yeah, it's been lovely getting to see so many places already. I keep looking at my calendar and being like, wow, we've only been over here this small amount of time. I feel like I've taken in so much history. It's been amazing.
Awesome. And is this your first trip outside the USA?
Not outside the USA, but first time over here. So yeah, I went to Brazil for some percussion courses a couple of months ago before we came on this trip. So I think it was nice. It kind of helped prep me for getting my world travel, kind of like a longer flight to somewhere else and feel a little bit more comfortable, which is amazing.
Brilliant. And you're originally from South Carolina.
That's correct.
For anybody that's not familiar, that's Atlantic coast. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We lived up in the mountains. It's about a 3-hour drive down to Charleston, where the beach is. But we lived up in kind of the mountain areas, and now I reside in Franklin, Tennessee. It's just a little bit below Nashville. I live out in the woods, so it's been nice to get out of the woods for a little while and come see this beautiful place over here.
That's you're very kind. It's good to have you here in little old England.
Yeah.
So I obviously before this call, I did a bit of trawling on the internet to find out a bit about Taylor McCall. You're keeping a fairly low profile as far as the UK is concerned at the moment. Hopefully we can help you elevate that profile.
Sure.
I did see that you had some photos on Facebook of what looked like London. Right?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
was going on there?
I had a day off in London, and I got to go see Jimi Hendrix and Handel's the museum and house where Jimmy lived. And I've been a lifelong Jimi Hendrix fan, so getting to see that was a bucket list thing, and go stand at some of the places where he stood and spent his time, because he's got kind of a similar story where he left his home, and came to Nashville pretty much for about 7 years, and then I think went to New York, but then came over to you guys, and this is where he kind of broke and lived a lot of his life. And it's been cool to kind of walk in these footsteps, kind of to just observe maybe what Jimmy saw back then, but also from my own story right now out with Robert. It's been amazing.
I was going to say, because I mean, some people have described you as having, I mean, you've got quite a soulful, gravelly tone to your voice, and some people have said it's reminiscent of certain tracks by Johnny Cash and so on. What were your musical influences growing up that sent you in the direction that you're going now, or has it all changed?
It's always been very different. I feel like I've always kind of made my sound, and it's been inspired by many things, but I really listened to so much growing up, in a way of like, we were in Birmingham the other night and playing where Black Sabbath's from. And I just remember, I was raised early on cool music like that, and Ozzy, and my dad was into guitar based stuff. And so I heard Stevie Ray Vaughan from an early age, and different stuff that kind of sunk its teeth into me, though I'm not technically proficient in knowing how to play certain things. I've always kind of done my thing with that same attitude that maybe they brought, but in my way. And so it's been a wide view of listening. But these days I'm listening to a lot of Al Green and like soul music. That's where my head's at. I seem to really like the soul grooves and drums right now. That's where my passion is.
And it seems that your debut album was Black Powder Soul, and 14 great tracks on that. And I personally particularly love Highway Will, least of all because I do the road trip here on Tone FM every Saturday night, which is all music that you would find going along highways, and so that whole journey thing. So that spoke to me personally, and I loved that. It seems that your grandfather was a significant influence on your life. Did he gift you your first guitar? Is that right?
He's definitely the reason I play guitar. It's I found it one day, opened it up. He would play, get it out, but he would always put it under his guitar, under his bed. And so when I was a kid, when they would leave, they pretty much raised me. And when my parents worked, and I would get his guitar out while him and my grandma would go out or go do something, and I wouldn't know what to do with it, but just look at it and kind of admired it. And I still remember the smell of it. It's definitely a fond memory.
It sounds well, and you have a prologue to one of your tracks with your grandfather's voice on the album. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what I've kind of been doing on my records. It's not in to me like a cliche, like a corny way, but I found all these super old recordings of my grandfather and kind of my family singing in Canada, and I've recently been able to archive those and hold on to those, and getting into the recording process of making music more fun and interesting to me, and not just bringing a song to the table, but making a project with, kind of like a movie, like a snapshot of my family lineage. Like my grandpa has been on the last record, and then will continue probably for a lot of records, just because to me that's a cool segue into just a body of work. Maybe if it's just in the beginning or both, to bookend a project, it means a lot to me and makes it kind of more of a piece of folk art in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of on that, quite a lot of your music has got quite a haunting, very emotional feel to it. And so I can see very easily how that would fit with the Robert Plant style of the things that he's doing post Led Zeppelin, particularly.
I've been noticing one thing live that I feel like really applies to me musically that would maybe make sense a little too, is with his band. It's kind of this world music sound, but a lot of droning guitar, which I've seemed to play for a while since I was a kid. A lot of weird tunings with just, you hit the guitar and it's a nice, pleasing drone sound. And I noticed they do a lot of that in their set, which is really cool to see.
Completely. And as I say, I think I can see very much how your sound complements very nicely the Robert Plant sound. How did the collaboration actually come to be?
Well, I was in the recording studio playing on a record with my friends, and just happened to get out and have a couple of days off, and we received a call about coming and doing this tour, and obviously we were honored and said yes, we would love to. I had kind of been taking a break from touring for a little while, just like you said earlier. It's kind of been hiding in the woods and just working on songs and playing music and just living life how I have enjoyed it. But when you get a call to do something like this, it's like, man, it's an honor. So I would love to come do this. This is special to me, and it's all around beautiful trip. So how could you ever turn this down?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the tour runs for another few weeks. Having looked at your website, it looks as though it's pretty much sold out everywhere. Is there availability left somewhere that people can come and see you from the UK?
Yeah, I'm doing a headline show, I believe. Drew, is it the 8th or the 9th? I'm doing a headline show the 9th in London at the Troubadour that I'm sure you could come see that and get some tickets. And that one's probably not sold out, but it'll be our first headline show, and looking forward to playing that. If anybody wants to come out, that's definitely one to see.
That's great. And the easiest way for them to get tickets is through your website?
Sure. Yes, sir.
And that's taylormccall.com.
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Okay. I mean, you've got your debut album was Black Powder. So you've got another album coming up early next year. Is that Mellow War? Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what it's called. It's called Mellow War.
And that will release February. Is that right?
Sir.
I believe there's a teaser track, isn't there, on Amazon Music or something already?
Yes, sir. There's the single Mellow War that's out, and then there's a video out on YouTube we put out, and It's got another bit of the intro for anybody who wants to hear that early. It's kind of like an Easter egg of where you can watch the Mellow War music video, but also hear like my grandfather's track on this record. And that, if anybody would like to see that, that's kind of a cool insight.
It certainly is. It's fantastic. Taylor McCall, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I know the Tone FM listeners appreciate it too. And we wish you every success with the rest of the tour and with the new album. And if we don't get to see you before, then we obviously wish you a very happy Christmas and a New Year.
Thank you so much. Pleasure talking to you. Have a great day.
You too. Okay. Many thanks.